Today is going to be about how long we can drive Laura crazy.
Let's just get into the discussion because this is going off the rails. I am Butler Eagle Sports writer Derek Pida, and here with me today are fellow sports writer Brendan Howe and Eagle Sports editor Jake Murda Adams. This is Season 2 of the Alter Eagles Eye on Sports. So we got 8 weeks of high school football in the books, and I'm still trying to figure out what some of our teams are all about. Last week, Seneca Valley wins, I picked them to lose. Butler wins, I picked them to lose. Freeport lost, I picked them to win. I don't know what's going on. So, Brendan, you're leading the picks now. Enlighten me. What's going on with high school football here?
Seneca Valley, it's kind of just the flip of a coin, whether they're going to be dominated or dominate the team they're playing with.
Analysis.
At this point, like I said last night when we were in the office, they are the most unpredictable team we've had in the time I've been here. Like, you can choose them to win. Like, I, at this point, would not be surprised if they went out. They have North Allegheny this week, right? Or is it Central Catholic?
Central Catholic.
Central Catholic. I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and somehow beat Central Catholic
Nah.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if they lose by 40. So that's Seneca Valley.
Well, that's covering all your bases. Going out on a limb there, Brendan.
They can either win or they can lose.
They can either win big or lose big. There's no in between.
Nuance.
I was a little surprised. Not. I can't say surprised. You're playing the number 1 running back in the country. No longer a Penn State commit. More on that later. Mars' defense didn't play terribly during that game. I think just during the first half, it doesn't help that you spot McKeesport 14 points to start the game. There was a surge there at the start of the second half where they started. I'm not gonna say started to show life. They were showing life because they were 1 4th down stop away from fully having, as we talked about last week, Jake, momentum.
Not a real thing. Or not as real of a thing as we make it out.
I think it was a thing on Friday because if Mars makes that stop, they have 53 yards. I think they got on the field in like 4 or 5 plays the way they were passing the ball at that point. Yeah. I think that if Mars and McKeesport play again, it will be closer. I don't think Keemon Spell goes for 6 touchdowns again. Then again, he could. It was an entertaining game to cover, though. I enjoyed covering that game. Different stadium, small press box, didn't even bother going into it. You ever been to McKeesport?
Yes.
Yeah. Tiny press box.
Sat in the stands.
Yeah. So we're already in week 9, right?
Week 9.
That's insane.
So I mentioned one of the games I got wrong this past week was Freeport. I picked them to edge Hopewell, and Hopewell ended up beating them by 28 points. I was unaware, however, that a few weeks ago, this was week 4, so we're talking like mid-September. Freeport star quarterback Drew Ross got injured, right ankle injury in a game against Deer Lakes.
That I covered.
And he has played since then, but he's basically kind of been battling through that injury, playing through the injury. And in Friday's game against Hopewell, Drew Ross is a very good dual threat quarterback when healthy, and they just teed off on him. I mean, every time guys broke through the line, which admittedly was often Freeport's offensive line did not have a good night in its own right, but he was unable to escape the rush. He was basically kind of like a sitting duck back there, sacked them 8 times, 7 times in the first half, and a game that I thought was going to be close and a Freeport win turned out to a runaway. It ended up 48-20, but Amos Glenn scored 2 late touchdowns.
Thank you.
For Freeport to kind of, bring that score closer together. That shows you every team, injuries, it's a variable that every team dreads because no matter what level you're talking, college, pro, high school, Freeport with a healthy Drew Ross, I honestly believe they could do something this year, like go deep into the playoffs. And I don't know if that's going to happen now. He left the game in the third quarter this past week against Hopewell, late in the third quarter, and it was, as far as I could tell, it wasn't because he aggravated the injury. It's just because the injury made him ineffective.
If you were John Gaylott, and it's hard to go into John's head, would you sit Drew the last 2 games and hope that he's 80, 90% by playoffs, no matter what the path you have, that point is.
I'm no football coach, but yeah, that's exactly what I would do. You look at their schedule. We'll get into the picks for this week later, but they got East Allegheny this week. East Allegheny is not a good team. You don't need Drew Ross to beat them. You just give the ball to Amos Glenn between returns and maybe a few catches out of the backfield and running the ball. You give it to him like 30 times, and that, to me, that's going to be enough to beat East Allegheny. Now, their last game of the regular season is against Amani Christian, who is undefeated. They're incredibly good. So you clinch a playoff spot this week with a win over East Allegheny. Whatever happens against Amani the last week of the regular season happens, and then hopefully at that point you get Drew Ross back and maybe you can do something in the playoffs.
Are you trying to play for seeding, though, against Amani? Do you try to risk that with Drew Ross and see if you can improve your playoff seeding and matchup?
Well, I look at it from the standpoint of if the ankle's been bothering him that much, one more week of not playing you would think it would benefit him.
Yeah.
And, bring him back, even if it's obviously going to hurt your seeding if you finish third in the conference as opposed to second. But at the same time, I'd rather go into the playoffs with a 7th or 8th seed or whatever, 6th, 7th, or 8th, whatever they would get if they go 1-1 over the next 2 games with a healthy Drew Ross going into the playoffs. I'd take my chances with that because otherwise, their backup, Danny King, he didn't really look effective against Hopewell. I'm not saying he can't do the job, but he's not a Drew Ross. That's clear. That's obvious. So, I'm not John Gaylott. I don't have him on speed dial. I know you do. But it's just a tough situation because Freeport, as you know, they looked really good a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And they had that game against Highlands where they fell down big, came back, forced overtime, lost on a blocked extra point. And then last week against Hopewell, it was just not good when your quarterback's, I was going to say running for his life, but he wasn't running because he wasn't mobile like he usually is.
I'm not sure I'm not sure that it's a twisted ankle or a sprained ankle for Ross, but do you remember the first time you sprained your ankle?
Done it once.
I remember probably the worst time I ever sprained it. Yeah, playing street hockey.
I was at a youth football camp. I was like, 7, 8 years old, and I remember the first time like your ankle turns, and I'd never dealt with that sort of pain before. I had to sit out the rest of the day, put ice on it, so it's a serious injury. Like,
mm-hmm.
I was playing street hockey, and I stepped awkwardly on on a friend of mine, Chris Weibel, his stick, and this was the night before my last day of my junior year in high school, so I missed the next day. And that if you're gonna miss a day of school, the last day of school is the worst day to miss because it's like there's no work. You hear that bell ring and everybody's out, everybody's riding the bus home. You got 3 schools out for summer. You got the bus ride home. You got 3 months to do whatever you want. So yeah, I missed my last day of my junior year.
I miss having 3 months to do it if I want.
Jake, football.
We haven't talked about Union AC Valley yet. They are 8-0,
which is what Max Gallagher told me last night. He thinks they're underdogs, and I guess we just gave them more fuel to the fire there. So
that's a team that has been rolling all season. Has even in games, especially early on, where we thought, okay, maybe they're going to be tested a little bit. They've not. They just steamroll everyone. Not only do they have Max Gallagher running the ball effectively, Logan Skabinski's now taken off in the last 2 weeks, which gives them a really dangerous 2-headed rushing attack. Brendan, your story this week, you want to give us a little bit of preview of what you have heard or talked about or seen or anything like that with that team? You're talking about them this week in your football preview.
So when you directed me to do this story this week, I have never written a feature on Union AC Valley. I don't think I've ever done them as a football preview, so new thing for me here. You told me to kind of dig into what's behind the success they've had, and it's almost 10 years now, right, that they've been a co-op up there?
2016 was the first year. So this is the 10th season.
Yeah, so at this point it's kind of moot to talk about what's it like being a co-op. And I asked them what are some challenges, and mostly they say the logistics, the travel of it. AC Valley, I think, has to ride to Union every day for practice, half an hour both ways, their coach said. So that's that challenge. But they, much like Butler, went to camp at Clarion this year for their heat. Is it acclimation or acclimatization? Because
acclimatization.
Yeah, so Derek and I had this conversation like a month ago, I think it was. I've always called it heat acclimation, but PIAA calls it heat acclimatization, which I don't know if I really want to listen to what PIAA says because they also tell us that we should continue to say
is that a
zero.
word? Is it acclimatization? That's a long word.
Technically, but acclimation is
I've always
also
thought it's
just
acclimation.
I tried to work that into Scrabble one night. I didn't have enough letters.
Yeah, but they told me, and just to kind of peel behind the curtain here, what they remember most about that camp is they woke up the last day, they had a 6 a.m. practice, and instead of walking down to the field all groggy-eyed and like, oh, we don't want to do this today, Max Gallagher woke up and he told me, I instantly pumped myself up. I wasn't going to go down kind of half asleep, and he got the rest of his team going, and they jogged half a mile to the stadium, and then he wanted to get through that practice, and that's kind of.
Did they like chug a bunch of Red Bulls or?
They didn't have to. They're kids. They don't have to do that. I'm thinking like.
Even when I was that age, I needed my caffeine.
I knew a lot of kids.
I told him when I wake up now, I got to lay in bed for like half an hour, scroll my phone, get out of bed, and like start moving around. But yeah, that camp was a lot of what's behind. He said there were some players-only meetings where him and fellow seniors talked to their position groups and kind of told them what it's going to take. And 8 weeks through, they're undefeated. So something's working. And they play a really good opponent this week. We make our picks. Port Allegheny said they've historically lost to Red Bank and Port Allegheny. They beat Red Bank this year. So Port Allegheny's up next, and we expect it to be a good game.
Absolutely. Falcon Knight's going to McKean County for that one. Man, I wish I
your counties.
If I could clone myself, I'd be driving up there. I'd be on my way up there now. I'd stay a couple nights.
He was so excited to go to a new stadium to see Montauk on Saturday.
Yes.
When everyone else is enjoying their college football or going pumpkin picking or everything else, Derek is.
Oh, I stopped by. I picked some pumpkins on my own. I stopped by.
No, you didn't. Did you really?
No. But yeah, Union City. It's only 20 miles south of Erie, but you would never guess that you're that close to a city of 90,000 people. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's right off Route 8, but when you get that far on Route 8, it's not, it's kind of
we're gonna need
Boondocks, Erie County.
We're gonna need after this season a top 10 list of Derek's favorite high school football stadiums he's covered games.
But as you can imagine, I've been between this paper and the two papers I worked for before. It's not often I get to go to a place I've never been before. In Union City, I'd been through the town. I'd driven through the town before, but I'd never been to the high school or the football stadium, and crossed another one off my list.
Got to send you out to Allentown to J. Bernie Crum Stadium one day.
Okay.
6 hours away.
Did you ever cover the game, a Butler game in Erie at Memorial Stadium?
Veterans Stadium?
Veterans Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool stadium.
Yeah, they got the murals of the past players there, like Dick Arrington and Fred Biletnikoff. Yeah.
My favorite stadium around here is Martorelli Stadium. That was the coolest stadium to play at and coolest stadium, I think, to cover a game. So it's a nice
That's cool.
J. Bernie Crum is in downtown Allentown, and it's up on a hill, kind of like just the way that that section of the town rolls. It's just going up a hill, so they built it into the side of the hill, basically. So the one side of the field is just a concrete wall that goes about 4 feet up in the air or whatever, maybe a little bit higher than that. There's no bleachers or anything. It's just out into the rest of the city. And then it's a half bowl stadium around it that's all bleacher seating and everything.
Who plays there? ACC?
ACC, I believe, does. There was like 2 or 3. It's similar to a couple stadium where there's like 2 or 3 teams I think played there. But the thing that I remember with it is either with the band at a football game there, or they would have like the regional championships there when I was in marching band. And the most confusing part of that stadium is because of that concrete wall, every time you do a rim shot on your snare, it ricochets off the back wall and comes back towards the bleachers. And so there's this like quarter second reverb that you have no matter what. So if you're getting judged in a competition, they have to take that into account. And if you're playing, you have to try to tune out a very loud noise every other second that's coming in a quarter second after you actually make the sound that you're trying to make. It's discombobulating if you're not ready for it.
Allentown, which, just throw this out there, actually passed Erie up a few years ago for the third largest city in Pennsylvania. It's now Philly, Pittsburgh, Allentown. It was Philly, Pittsburgh, Erie. Seneca Valley boys hockey is off to a 2-0 start to the young PIHL season. The Raiders are the defending league and state champions, having beaten South Fayette and Holy Ghost Prep last spring for the titles. Joining us today are three of their veteran leaders, Captain Carter Hoehn and two assistant captains, John Sroka and Vinci Villella. We got John on the left, Carter's in the middle, and Vinci's on the right. Sroka already has 2 goals and an assist of the season, and Villella has 2 assists heading into Thursday's road game against Fox Chapel. Guys, we appreciate you taking the time to join us. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So coming off those PIHL and state titles from last spring, what's different about this year? Do you feel more pressure? Has any of it been a challenge to find that same edge now that you guys have won it all?
I think there's that challenge of the motivation to win, because a lot of people think, that we think we're gonna win, and that's just not the case. We would need to keep the motivation to come out and win every time and want to be there for every practice, every game. We just need to want to be here. What do you boys think?
Yeah, for sure. Same thing, basically what he said. Just like, obviously we are a good team, but we still have to, like, the same thing goes last year. You still got to work hard, show up for everything, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I covered the Penguins Cup last year, which went into 3 overtimes. I don't remember getting too much sleep that night, having to get up and work the next day. How late did you guys sleep in that morning after that long game? That's basically 2 games in one.
Yeah, I can't even remember.
Was that a weekday? Was that a weekday?
That was a Monday.
It was a Monday, yeah.
We had to go to
We
school.
had to go to school the next day, so probably got up at like 7. So yeah, it was a long night, long day the next day.
They didn't cancel school to celebrate the championship?
Oh yeah, no.
What was your first? Did you have accommodating first period teachers, or were they being particularly hard on you guys? I don't care that you won a PIHL title. You're here to study in class.
It wasn't seriously like a big problem, but like a lot of teachers did notice. Like, I was a little bit tired. I'm sure you guys were too.
Yeah, I might have dozed off in a study hall or two, but
Yeah, I was definitely.
I thought he was about to admit to falling asleep in class, which I never did. I could never fall asleep in school. It was a weird thing.
Yeah, I was definitely dozing off a little bit.
You guys have a really good goalie, not to mention just the 3 of
Yeah.
you, and Chris Nichols. He's allowed just 1 goal so far this season on 26 shots, according to PIHL's website. You don't have to face him in game situations, but when you got to practice against him, how excited are you when you guys get a goal?
It's really competitive.
Everyone goes crazy. So.
yeah.
He's really, really good.
It's not that often that you score on him.
Yeah.
What's the best moment you've had so far, or what that the team's had so far getting one by him?
Probably just in practices when we're playing games. If you get a game winner on Big Chris, you keep the puck. That's not gonna happen maybe ever again.
Yeah, like, for example, we play like whatever team wins, they win, and the other team skates, like, does like there's like a conditioning drill, right? And like I just feel like the team that wins, it's always a big deal, you know.
Carter, your younger brother Cooper leads the team in goals right now with 4, including 1 in the power play. Tell us a little bit about him and what's it like having your younger brother on the team and being so successful with this veteran group that you have.
Oh, it's one of the coolest experiences in the world. I played with him last year. It was one of my first times ever playing with him, and he's just a dog. He's always out. He's even on and off the ice. He's always working out. He deserves it. He deserves all the credit for all the success he's had so far. But it's a great experience to play with my brother on the team for sure.
Who's got the bragging rights? Because you're a defenseman, you don't get to really score a whole lot, but so he's getting all the highlights and stuff here.
He might got me right now. I mean, leading the team, but we'll get him back eventually. We'll get back on the good side.
I'm going to put you guys on the spot now. If you had to pick a teammate or yourself, who's going to be MVP of this team by the end of the season? We're going to start with John.
So Big Chris last year got like Player of the Year, like PIHL. I forget what it was called exactly, but if it was possible, which I don't know if it is, but definitely him. He definitely stands out as like goaltending for the whole league, like by far.
All right, Carter, you're picking Cooper, right? Okay, let's move on now.
No, I'll change it up a little bit. I'm gonna go with my buddy John over here. Your skill, passion, just skating ability, and pure goal scoring touch. It's next level, and he's fun to watch. But I'll go with John on this one.
Vinci?
Probably Chris or one of these two guys. They're always working hard on the power play. John's sniping everywhere. Yeah, Chris is he's so good. Like no one's getting past him.
When did he earn the name Big Chris? Because I think I interviewed him after that Penguins Cup win, and he's not the biggest guy. So is that like a joke?
It's during sports. Yeah, it's always been like a weird thing. Like past years I played for Penn's Elite with him when I was like 10 years old, and that still was a nickname for him, even though he wasn't the biggest kid. He just played big, you know.
Gotcha. Speaking of club hockey, I was talking with your coach for season preview stuff, and he mentioned that you have some new players on the roster who were on other club teams before. You also lost a player or two that can't play this year because of their club's rules. How tough is it balancing the club schedules that you have with your high school club team in Seneca Valley? What's a typical week look like during the season for you guys in terms of practice, games, homework, any other responsibilities you may have?
Yeah, for high school, I'm sure they try to like be as flexible as possible with that stuff, but it definitely is a challenge to fit in both teams. Sometimes you have to miss this to like go to this, you know. But like for me, I play club too. I have hockey every day. I don't really get a day off.
Yeah, and I don't play travel anymore, but I play golf. So first 2 months of the season, I'm going straight from the course to the ice rink. So I'm not home until 9 o'clock. Nonstop.
I'll speak on my brother's behalf because I don't play club either anymore, but I know for him, it's every day for him. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Fridays if he has games. It's a grind. I'm sure it's a mental task. It's tough for him, but he handles it really well. And it's just you have to have the right mental aspect to do it. It's not for everyone. It's definitely it's a grind, like I said, between school, like travel and club. It takes the right person. You need to be hardworking. It's not easy.
Definitely keep it on the school too.
What's the thing in your life that gets sacrificed most? I mean, I imagine it might be a social life, but is it that, or is it something else that has to be put on the back burner compared to, you know, your friends and classmates and siblings and family?
Probably, yeah, just like the social life. Like after school, I'm not going to see my friends or like go play 9 holes with them at the golf course and going to practice or going to the gym, just trying to get better every day and win another Penn's Cup, hopefully. It's state title.
Yeah, for sure.
So being that you guys either play travel hockey or have played travel hockey, what's the furthest you've traveled for a tournament or an event for club hockey?
Personally, I've been to Quebec.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ontario.
Boston.
Yeah,
Chicago.
Boston,
As far as Las Vegas, I went there once for hockey.
Yeah.
It's probably
Arizona was definitely a fun one.
Mm-hmm. What is the best PIHL arena to play in? What's your personal favorites?
Probably UPMC during the Penn's Cup.
Yeah.
UPMC and RMU.
Yeah.
I've always liked RMU just because like I'm so familiar with the area.
Yeah, that's probably UPMC.
You guys know, I mean, you've played enough hockey. I've covered hockey for the last 23 years. A hockey locker room has a very distinct smell to it. Which locker room that you guys have played in is the worst, or is it just because a bunch of guys are in there? It's small. It's a small area, and there's a bunch of players in there. Is each one as bad as the next, or is there one worse than the others?
There's
definitely Ice Castle. Yeah, Ice Castle was terrible.
Yeah, it seems like the one locker room we always get put in. It's this like distinct smell from the bathroom. It's like it's like
wet and like
it's so bad.
It hasn't went away for like at least 6 years now. It's just staying in there.
Jeez. So it's not even the locker room smell. It's coming from next door.
It's the bathroom.
But like there is other rinks that have the locker room smell, but it's not like that bad. Like it's just like it's normalized for us, you know.
packed up sewage.
How often do you guys clean your pads, and do you have to like store them in a shed 100 yards away from the house so your parents don't get bothered by the smell all the time?
I clean my under stuff and like jerseys every day after every practice or game, but pads, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I wash my pads maybe at the end of each month just so they don't stink all year long. But I definitely clean like my skate socks, undergear, stuff like that. But
not as much as we should.
Yeah.
Lindsay, you're on the golf team, and I know at least one of your teammates, CJ's on the golf team too, right?
Yeah.
How many are there any other players on Seneca Valley's hockey team that play golf? And that doesn't come across to me as a normal, oh yeah, I play golf in the fall, hockey the rest of the year. I mean, what is it about that connection? What got you? Which one did you start playing first?
Definitely hockey. I started when I was 3 playing hockey. I didn't start playing golf till like COVID, kind of getting real into it. Then I just kind of been doing both ever since COVID. And
Other than CJ, is there anybody else?
no.
How did you get into hockey at 3 years old? You're barely old enough to walk at that point.
I don't know. I just started going to like those learner skates and then starting to play a little bit later. I don't know.
Wow. 3 years old. Jeez.
We're gonna
My
put.
parents just wanted me to skate, I guess. I don't know.
You guys are all now wearing the hat of the Penguins GM. What do the Penguins have to do to get back to being contenders?
Just keep on getting younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Draft Carter Hoehn. Draft Carter Hoehn.
Yeah, I think our core is, I mean, obviously we got Sid, Gino, Letang, and Carlson, I guess. We just need a younger core. I mean, those guys are all over, 35?
Yeah.
Our core is just too old. We need to bring in some young guys.
For sure.
Start tanking.
Get a real good goalie too, like Big Chris.
Yeah.
Draft Big Chris.
Derek hates tanking. Don't say that word around him. He might get mad.
It's a curse word in this show, that's for sure. Are you guys looking for was it McKenna at Penn State, the phenom that's there? Is that who you guys are?
Hopefully,
who you want to tank for?
Hopefully.
Well, guys, one of my last questions I have for you is hockey's like the weird sport in the winter in which it starts this early. You guys actually had games last week, I think Tuesday and Friday, I believe. Every other winter sport in PIHL especially doesn't start until Thanksgiving or later. So what is it like for you guys for Vinci, in your case, you're still golfing while you're getting ready for the hockey season. So what is it like to get onto the ice this early and have to get, you guys even had a preseason tournament with the St. Margaret's Cup a couple weeks ago. So is it weird being the odd ones to start so soon in the winter season?
I honestly think it's better. I mean, definitely more students can come to the game, show up and support. But I actually enjoy having to start early. Definitely.
Yeah, I do too. Gives us something to do.
Yeah.
I can't sit still, so it's kind of nice starting early.
Yeah, and usually whenever you play hockey, you have some work to do over the summer too. So it's never really stopping,
Mm-hmm. What should we expect for the team the rest of the season?
Lots of winning.
Hopefully dominance. We're gonna come out here, and I think we want it more than anyone. I think we got the skill to do it. So I mean, hopefully it's just gonna be a lot more winning, and if we keep playing the way we have been, it should be.
Yeah, we for sure have the ability to do it again, for sure. Go all the way.
If I'm covering it this time, please make it less than 3 overtimes. That'd be great.
We'll try our best.
Yeah.
Seneca Valley hockey players John Sroka, Carter Hoehn, and Vinci Villella. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. Hey friends, before we jump back in, just a quick reminder. If you're looking for all the latest high school football scores, schedules, news, and highlights around Butler County, make sure you check out this week's live coverage on our website. It starts every Thursday with features, previews, and more, and continues Friday evening with a live blog we update throughout the games and post-game recaps after that, so you don't miss a thing. ButlerEagle.com/section/sports has everything from local highlights to player spotlights. So it's a great place to stay caught up on all things high school football, soccer, and the rest of the fall sports. That's ButlerEagle.com/section/sports. Also, if you're enjoying this podcast, it really helps us out when you rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen. And don't be afraid to tell your friends and family. We love word of mouth. It not only helps more people find us, but it also lets us know what you'd like to hear more of. Thanks for your support. Now let's get back to the show. All right, see you guys later. We appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
You were there that night, weren't you, to cover the next game?
Near the end of the third period, and I was there for like an hour and a half.
How long are the periods? Are like 15? No,
17.
17 minutes.
That's my phone. I forgot to turn my Bluetooth on.
Hockey's fun to cover though. I don't mind covering hockey.
You can have it.
I wasn't taking stats like during the game. I was just waiting for like the key moment because you had me cover like 2 doubleheaders, I think, right? Or
I think
was
so.
it 1? Yeah.
Yeah, you had a few games last year.
That was the first time. Like I remember you telling me to go in. You're like, you don't have. You can write during the other game. I was like, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do this. It's funny. That kid learned how to skate at 3 years old. The first time I went ice skating was last year.
So we are still recording.
Just keep going. That's just easier.
I just realized Eric's headset was off.
Okay, so I got to give you guys a rundown of the pick standings. Pains me to say this. Brendan was 9-2 last week. He's in first place with a 64-19 record. Jake and I both went 8-3, but Jake is 63-20, 4 games better than me, 59-24. Where's the hole in the sand where I can just stick my head? It's tough.
It's slowly getting colder and colder and eventually frozen.
You have to be brave enough to take some risks. And last week I did.
I'm not doing the risk thing. I'm picking games because I could just wait for you to fold. But I don't want to do that because then you know what, if I do the risk like that, then I'm going to end up like 10 games back. I don't want to do that.
You got to get within 2, maybe 3 games of him going into the playoffs to have a shot. Yep. I think if you're any farther than that, and I think 3's pushing it.
I think you're right, Jake.
Playoffs are the toughest part of the season to
week 1.
guess.
It's always week 1 for me. I have no idea what to guess in week 1.
Starting off this week's picks, we're going to head up the hill where Butler has played all but 2 of their games this year, hosting Willing Park this Friday. Jake, we're going to start off with you with this one.
So I'm stealing a little bit of what we're all going to talk about because the running game is going to be such a factor in the success for either team here. Brendan Wack, if he's healthy for Wheeling Park, could make the difference for this game. If he's on the field, I think they're going to win this one pretty easily. But they do have a very capable backup in Isaac Sands. But Butler's shown that it's got a good running game of its own with Mark Clems and Nico Bagetta, a quarterback who runs the ball quite effectively. And Brendan featured last week with his, on his physicality. I think Wheeling Park wins this one 42-21. They're one of the top ranked teams in West Virginia.
Brendan?
You know who is going to be on the field no matter what, unless
you.
I wish. Mark Clems is going to be on the field, and he's been one of our most impressive rushers in the county this year. I am not going to choose against Butler, who this is it has turned into quite the year for them. They get the forfeit win, but even then they'd be 6-2. So
yeah,
that's a pretty respectable record.
7-2.
7-2, even better. So I will take Butler here at 28-24.
The Patriots have a quarterback who passed for 300 yards last week. A running back, not Brendan Wack. I guess his backup ran for almost 200 yards last week, and 2 receivers who both tallied over 100 yards in receptions. So that's a lot of offense, and this is probably good news for Butler because I just can't seem to pick one of their games right. I'm picking Wheeling Park in a shootout, 40-34.
We should add one thing here too for anyone who hasn't seen the paper in the last few days is Butler is 7-1 going into this one because they found out on Wednesday last week after we had recorded the show that Westinghouse, who had beaten them in week 5 for their only loss so far this year, or for their second loss at the time this year, retroactively forfeited their game because they used an ineligible player, they found out, and were self-reporting it. So Butler got a 2-0 win by forfeit in that game. They are now 7-1, which is the first time since 97 they had finished above 500, and the first time since I think we said 92 that they have 7 wins now. So quite the season, but a little bit of a change for where things were. And also we decided as a group to just drop the result of that game from week 5 from our standings instead of giving us all a win because we didn't actually get a win. We all picked Westinghouse to win that game. We picked Westinghouse to win that game. So we just took that off of our ledger, basically.
Okay. Karn City going to Punxsutawney, and in a schedule quirk this year in District 9, there are several teams that face another team twice. Karn City faced Punxsutawney a few weeks ago at Karn City. I covered that game. Gremlins were up 19-0 at halftime. Punxsutawney scores 22 points in the second half to win by 3. This is the rematch. Punxsutawney's still undefeated, but Karn City's looked really good in recent weeks. Brendan, does Punxsutawney see its shadow on Friday?
Since Punxsutawney beat Karn City, we have seen them beat Central Clarion, a very impressive team to beat, and Westinghouse, a very impressive team to beat. I think they moved to 4 wins in a row with a 35-14 win.
And Karn City also crushed Brockway this past week. Just throw that out there. So it's 3 straight wins. Jake, who do you got here?
I tend to favor the home team by a couple points usually in any game, just because high school football tends to have a pretty decent home advantage. Punxsutawney won this game by 3 the last time, as you mentioned, Derek, in comeback fashion. I think they're going to win this one a little bit easier, but it's still going to be kind of a shootout by Karn City standards. Cole Johnston's got 3 TDs the last time in this game, 1 passing, 2 rushing. I think he's going to be key to trying to keep this one close or potentially pull off the win, but I have the Chucks winning 31-24.
Punxsutawney, as I said, they're undefeated, 8-0. That first game against Karn City, they had a bad first half. They were turning the ball over, offense couldn't get going, and Karn City took advantage, but then Punxsutawney came back in the second half and won. I think this game's going to be a little bit more balanced. I don't think there's going to be one half that one team dominates and then the next half another team dominates. I think it's going to be more even, but I have the Gremlins handing Punxsutawney its first loss of the season. Karn City 29, Punxsutawney 22. All right, this will be my first time to see Mars this year. They're hosting Hampton. Brennan, Mars just coming off that lopsided loss at McKeesport last week. Do they get back on the winning track here?
So what I noticed as Mars was down in that game, 35-10, Gabe Hoehn was pretty fired up, and he's kind of taken off in terms of receiving. He had 9 receptions for 120 yards, I think, in that game. Should have had a few touchdowns. Ball didn't get to him in the way that he needed for that to happen. Aiden Yoakum, it's 2.5 minutes left in the game, and he runs 93 yards for a touchdown. At that point, especially as a running back who's taken the beating he did all game, he could have sat down. He could have been like, I'm done. Like, we're going to lose anyways. Instead, he sprints up the left sideline, and he scores. And then linebacker Zach Dennell, who was in on a lot of tackles of spell on Friday night, he's been playing with a broken hand since when I covered the last game I covered of theirs. I forget who it was against. But those 3, along with the line that they have, are a pretty good core to kind of help that team rebound. I think Mars wins this one 32-13.
Jake?
So planets have been tested a couple times in the last few weeks, almost like off and on, but they're going to close out the regular season with 2 very winnable matchups against the Talbots and then Indiana next week going into the Whitfield playoffs. Don't know necessarily long-term if that's great. Like, do you want to continue being tested a little bit before you get to Whitfields, or if you want to be able to kind of get right here? But for at least right now, they get a get-right week. Biggest question I have is, does Aiden Yoakum make it 4 straight 250-yard games? We'll see. I got Mars winning 41-13.
You look at the 2 games that Mars has lost this year, Aliquippa and McKeesport. Hampton is a decent team. They're not at the same level as Aliquippa and McKeesport. I got Mars winning this one pretty handily, 37-15, and I'll be there to see it. Eric, I'm coming down. Be ready for me.
Don't threaten him with a good time.
All right. This is a game that North Catholic still has a shot at the Western Hills Conference title, but to get there, they have a very steep mountain to climb. They're hosting Avonworth this week, Brennan, and Avonworth is undefeated. How do you see this game turning out?
I think Avonworth is going to stay undefeated. Much like the Trojans, they have a pretty balanced attack. I expect a lot of points in this one, so Jake, be prepared for me to take a little while longer to write with the box score, just like last week, actually. 37-35 Avonworth.
Jake?
The biggest sticking point, it seems like, or the 2 biggest sticking points it seemed like for North Catholic the last couple of weeks is its defense when challenged by a really good offense as they're about to face an Avonworth. doesn't seem capable of holding them down. It ends up being a shootout, and North Catholic kind of has to win a coin flip game. Also, the running game has disappeared a little bit the last few weeks. Logan Shade might be injured. It seems like he's had fewer carries in the last 3 or so weeks than he did earlier in the season. They're going up against a quarterback in Carson Bellinger who's thrown for 19 TDs already for the Antelopes. I think Avonworth wins this one in a shootout, 41-28.
North Catholic has allowed 112 points in their last 3 games. That's not good when you're going up against an offense that is as high-powered and as potent as Avonworth. Just too much of a test here for North Catholic. I got the Antelopes winning 38-23. All right. The District 9 game of the year. Union AC Valley, 8-0 at Port Allegheny, 8-0. Port Allegheny, of course, played for the state championship last year. Jake, we're going to go to you first on this one. How do you see this one? I mean, it's 2 single-A teams,
Yep.
but it's literally a heavyweight matchup when you look at the records.
At the end of the night, one team will have won this game, and one team will have lost this game.
That's analysis.
The Gators, Aiden Bliss, I was intrigued by this stat, so I'm going to read basically what I have for our preview this week. He's got 1,445 yards and 21 touchdowns by himself. That nearly matches what the duo in the Falcon Knights backfield of Max Gallagher and Logan Skabinski have done with a little over 1,600 yards and 29 combined TDs. That is an impressive number from one running back to put up. And we all know in this room that the Falcon Knights have 2 really good running backs of their own. I've got Port Allegheny winning this one. I wonder if I'm going to be the only one in this department here. 38-28.
Brandon.
I noticed that they had that rusher as well, Port Allegheny, but both teams are going to wake up sore on Saturday morning. I think the Falcon Knights will be sore, but they'll also be happy with those pair of rushers that I talked to Dan Reed about yesterday. So Union AC Valley 28, Port Allegheny 25.
I don't think it's any secret that for Port Allegheny, this is going to be the best defense they've faced all season. And for Union AC Valley, Port Allegheny poses the best defense they're going to see all season, at least up to this point. So when I look at that, Jake, you brought up the Aiden Bliss. His numbers are very comparable to the 2 guys that Union AC Valley has. Port Allegheny could very well go out and win this game, but I look at it like Union AC Valley has to stop one guy. I mean, one main guy that jumps off the page at you, and Port Allegheny has to stop 2.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a difference, the fact that we're looking at 2 guys for Union AC's offense as opposed to 1 for Port Allegheny. I like the Falcon Knights to stay undefeated and hand the Gators their first loss of the year, 31-29. I wonder if ESPN's going to be there because this is going to be an instant classic. I asked Jake
ESPN Classic, is that channel even on anymore?
I don't think it exists.
an instant classic on ESPN. How about that? For the last 6 games here, we're just going straight picks and scores. East Allegheny at Freeport. Jake.
Freeport 41-21.
Brennan.
Freeport 23-10.
I'm taking Freeport 28-10. West Mifflin at Knock. Jake.
West Mifflin 35-7.
Brennan.
West Mifflin, same score.
Okay. West Mifflin 34-7. Almost 3 straight identical scores there.
That's crazy.
Kane at Montauk. Brendan.
Kane 35, Montauk 12.
Jake.
Kane 33-14.
I'm taking Kane 33-19. Central Catholic at Seneca Valley. Brendan.
Central Catholic 35-14.
Jake.
Central Catholic 49-14.
Taking Central Catholic 46-20. Slippery Rock at Hickory. Jake.
Hickory 35-14.
Brennan.
Hornets 27-7.
Hornets 31-13. Last and not least, Saturday's game, Neshannock at Summit Academy. Brendan.
Neshannock 32-10.
Jake.
Neshannock 48-14.
I'm taking Neshannock 41-12. I don't know if you noticed this, but in the standings, I believe it's Neshannock. They and another team in that conference, it might have been Rochester. They were supposed to play a game this year, and they for some reason it got postponed, and they haven't made it up. I mean, that could affect like the standings and where
interesting.
teams are seated.
I did not know that.
Yeah, There's 2 teams in that conference, the Big 7, that have only played 7 games. Have only played 6 games, and they should have played 7. Oh,
No, you're right. 7 games. Yeah,
7
Neshannock and Rochester.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know what happened there, and that could obviously affect, because Neshannock's going to make the playoffs, but that could affect their seeding. I don't know. Brendan, look into that. Okay, all right, we'll have that next week for you.
If Derek loses this week, he's in danger of missing out on playoffs. So,
Missing out.
Wait, playoffs?
Playoffs.
if you're 2-6 in the NFL, you're likely not making the playoffs. 2-5 is pretty iffy itself.
Oh,
A trivia question playoffs would be pretty funny.
rapid
should do
fire. Got it.
All right, Derek.
Derek.
Which Steeler holds the record for the team's most sacks in a single game?
A single game. I could have
Yeah.
gotten single season.
I got a couple names I'm mulling over there, so let's go to Beyond Brennan with Butler.
This will be a fun one this week. Welcome to Beyond Butler, where we talk about something outside of Butler County in terms of sports, whether that be professionally or collegiately. We talked last week about the breaking point of firing a head coach, and we learned that is loss to Northwestern at home after also losing to a pretty moribund UCLA team and Oregon in overtime. James Franklin is no longer with the Nittany Lions, which as an Ohio State fan, I'm a little upset about because you can count on them to fail. My question to you guys is, what is the most absurd possible Penn State football coaching hire?
Coach Prime.
Bill Belichick.
Oh.
Coach Prime.
That's a good one.
Bring
That's
him
a
in.
good one.
They're flying him in right now.
You at least know he'd bring a ton of juice to the program, a ton of attention to the program. You'd also get some recruits that you wouldn't necessarily get coming up to Happy Valley. That would be an interesting one. It'd be
close to
very
Shador?
entertaining. Huh?
It'd be closer to Shador.
This is true. Yeah.
I
Which
didn't,
matters to him.
I didn't even think about that one. Mine, you remember when USC's job came open a few years ago, and they asked Mike Tomlin about
Really?
his
I don't
interest in
remember
it,
that.
and he
don't remember that.
completely shut it down. You don't remember that?
I don't know.
Mike Tomlin to Penn State would be insane.
That would be,
After he wins the Super Bowl, the Steelers, okay, that's fine.
I got Bill Belichick as the most insane one because there's already been reporting out there that he and UNC have had talks of renegotiating the buyout and ending this marriage of convenience or inconvenience or whatever you want to call it after 5 or 6 weeks. If he left and took another job, it's not going to be in college, so it definitely wouldn't be at Penn State. But it would be really funny if you got the hoodie coaching at Penn State. That would be my most outlandish one.
I just don't know who would. I mean, I understand you get the money and you get the resources and stuff, but who would want to coach there? Like, it's
So-
a boring locale. It's literally smells like cow poop like 75% of the year.
Just
I'm not joking,
just
Derek.
alienated like
I'm
half
not-
the
I've been
I'm
there.
not j-
I've been there.
Yeah, doesn't
Listen,
it smell?
What were you doing in, I don't know, September of 97? You weren't even born yet.
Yeah. What?
I was in Penn State watching football.
Did it smell?
Try riding your bike through the panhandle of Texas and then talk about me about
So you're saying this
okay?
country doesn't need farms?
I'm saying that that five-star
It smells
football
like poop.
five-star football
Your
players
face.
don't want to go
For people that
somewhere
are
where
listening.
it stinks all the time.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Well-
Sorry, I'm going to poke 2 holes in this real easily. Micah Parsons and Saquon Barkley.
2 poop holes.
two of
Micah
the-
Parsons, a PA guy, and Saquon Barkley,
also a PA guy.
Rutgers wanted him. And then Penn State
Well, yeah.
came in and saved him.
Because he grew
So,
like 3 inches his senior year and became
Phonetically, you were going
the
somewhere.
monster
I was
became.
watching your mouth. I was like, don't do it.
The
Don't do it.
I'll also counter with this, and I am by no means a Penn State fan, but college campuses and football stadiums aren't always known for being in these urban hubs. Usually that's why they are a college campus, because they can spread out a little bit. They're not tucked into a city the way that Temple or Pitt is. Like Tuscaloosa, like
2 stout programs, by the way.
outside of the University of Alabama, what else is in Tuscaloosa? Like, I say this as someone who has never stepped foot in the state of Alabama, so I'm being a little bit biased or judgmental here. But like Penn State being in Happy Valley in the middle of nowhere, North Pennsylvania, is no different from a lot of the power colleges in the U.S. And I'd say the question I want to throw back at you, Brendan, is what are the other programs in the Power 4 conferences that you would rank above Penn State in terms of best opportunity to be a juggernaut type of program? Like serious
all of
question.
them.
Yeah, who would you rank above that?
like 20 of them.
Okay, so Ohio State, obviously, Alabama, Auburn, LSU,
Texas,
Texas.
Oregon, USC,
Oklahoma.
Florida, Florida State, Miami,
Michigan. I'd put in there.
Michigan.
But who else in the Big Ten then? Because Ohio State, Michigan, and
Indiana's doing better than Penn State.
I'm not necessarily saying doing better right now.
Jumping on the bandwagon.
I'm
Here
saying,
we go.
Hoosiers all aboard! Are you really a blue
Jeez.
blood if you haven't won the national championship since 1986?
6. Intercepted Testaverde 5 times.
Let me throw
3 weeks after he won the Heisman
Let me
Trophy.
throw one more grenade in here. Boring uniforms.
Oh, God, here we go. Here we go.
That I'll say this. I think most players in the age of NIL
Steelers.
and transfer
Here we
portal
go.
are not going to make their pick. I don't think the coolness factor of a jersey is going to be anywhere in their top 10 reasons why they're going to pick a football team. They're going to pick it because of NIL. Especially if they're a 5-star recruit, they're going to pick it because of coach. They're going to pick it because of prestige. They're going to pick it because of opportunity to go to the NFL. Jersey is way down.
Jake
on that
is
list.
usually on your side when it comes to putting Penn State down, and
Yeah.
saying they're the third worst program in the country. But he's actually on my side today. Here's that
Let's
50
think about
bag.
this.
You're-
Let's think about this.
Just shake hands.
All of these WIPU, like you mentioned Micah Parsons, you mentioned Saquon Barkley, all these kids from the WIPU, like Keemon Spell, Matt Sieg, who are like some of the best football players
Yeah.
WIPU has seen. Terrell Pryor, he went to Ohio State. Anyways, they were going to Penn State for James Franklin. If they were going to Penn State, if they had committed to Penn State because they wanted to play for Penn State, they'd still be committed to go there.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
You might like everything a school's about, but if the coach that you have dealt with, the head coach that you believed you were going to be playing for the next 3 or 4 years, is now all of a sudden out, they don't know who the coach is going to be. So it might be a guy that they completely clash with. So you might like the smell of horse manure. You might like the fact that it's, you might like ice cream from the creamery up there. But if the coach that you're going to be dealing with is a guy that you're going to be clashing with over the next 3 or 4 years, that's a huge part of it. They don't know who the coach is now.
I do think, too, we make a big deal about, oh, my God, this kid has decommitted because the coach left, when this is kind of a normal part of the cycle. And we're probably going to see a decent chunk, not all, but a decent chunk of those kids stay committed to or recommit to Penn State once they know who's coming in. And if they bring a guy that they believe is still going to fit the vibe of whatever they're looking for at Penn State or whatever they thought they were looking for, which Matt Rule is the overwhelming top prospect right now to take this job, and he hasn't ruled it out yet. Basically said, I like what we have here at Indiana, but didn't at all say I'm not going to Penn State, which wouldn't matter for anything anyway.
I think, though, that Rule isn't much of an upgrade. Like, yeah, you want a Baylor, you want a Temple, but, like, James Franklin and him are on even footing. The coach that would scare me that is a name being floated out there is Kurt Signetti, because he's winning at Indiana. But the fact is, you're at Indiana, you're at a school that will bow down to you for a 9-3 season. They care about basketball more. Why would you leave that for a fan base that demands more than
Ego
really
monsters.
what their program might be?
Why would Kellen DeBoer leave Oregon to go to Alabama? For the same reason. He can be the king of the mountain.
He's learning pretty quickly that it sucks.
Exactly, but that's the thing is, these Power 4 coaches are ego monsters, and I say that in a way that's not necessarily like negative about it, but you have to be so egotistically driven and so single-minded to be that successful and to climb those ladders where only one of you're one of only 40-something coaches in college football that are at those heights, and there's only 32 of those jobs in the NFL. You have to be hardwired a very specific way, and those guys don't typically do well with, well, I'm at tier 2 and I'm very content here. Most don't stay content. They're always trying to climb to the very highest of highest mountaintops.
Scott Frost, I remember him saying, and we can leave off after this, but I remember him saying after he left UCF for Nebraska, his alma mater, UCF was doing great. They were in New Year's Six Bowls every year. That he was building a program there with lesser resources. He leaves to Nebraska, and it's not fun for him at all. And I remember he left. I think he left to go back to UCF, and I think he's back at UCF. Yeah, and what he said was, sometimes you have to learn to stop where you're happy. So,
and that's great for him to have that self-awareness. I'm just saying that most coaches don't learn that ahead of time.
Yeah. And Kurt Signetti's older too. I think he's in his 70s, if not nearing his 70s. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope they hire another mediocre coach that leads them to mediocre things, and I get to.
Mediocre. They were Final Four last year. Final
Who did they
Four.
beat to get there?
It was a very weak
Your
bracket.
Boise State team, who you thought were. Oh my gosh! Well, first of all, there's only 12 teams that make the playoff.
Yeah.
So therefore, any team that's in the playoff, top 12, is a top 12 team.
For the audio audience,
Yeah.
Derek was
Oh.
sitting here writing notes, checked out of this part
Yeah,
of the
he was
conversation,
not-
ready to
That
move on
has to
to
be
our
clear.
final
And then he-
topic,
That has to
and
be
immediately just
Mediocre.
throws the pen down. and just
Mediocre.
goes,
Now this.
they're not mediocre.
Multitasking at its finest.
What's your mediocre definition?
Mediocre is lazy, doesn't apply themselves,
Skates
doesn't
by.
work
Now here,
hard.
Penn
Just
State might fill that bill this year, but you made that comment last year.
He's
sorry, I'm
bitter.
like
There
going
is
on
bitter
3
rivals.
hours
He's
of sleep.
He's trash talking his arch rival. Well, his second arch rival.
Well,
Little
Here's
brother.
the thing. Here's the thing.
That's it.
Little
It's
brother,
just
but
trash talking a rival. Yeah.
He-
Sorry,
he-
Brendan.
He
but
says
that's what's
Penn
happening.
State's little brother, but he talks about like he's fearing them. Like if they brought in a good coach, they might become really good. So I hope they get a crappy coach.
Well, I mean, I kind of do the same thing
No,
with the Cowboys.
you should want to
I
play
like-
against a good team and beat them,
Hey.
right?
Ohio State knows when they play Penn State every year, they're getting a test. You know that.
They're getting a test.
Sorry, Jake, I cut you off.
Yeah,
Derek,
you're
for
good.
the audience, Derek has also been a Pitt fan in his life, and they're trending upwards. So if I were you,
In
I would-
They
his
were trending
life.
upward last year too. and,
Remember, yeah, they were 7-0 last
We
year.
need
at
to
one point.
record during a game or something. Like something
No
needs
Steeler
to.
game. I'm gonna kill somebody. Okay, we gotta move on here. Okay,
mediocre.
Are we going? Are we going? Are you giving your answer?
yeah. Okay, I got a question for you regarding your question. The NFL didn't start taking down sacks as an official stat until 1982.
That person comes after that
That
watershed.
Okay.
that point in time.
Okay. So
that year.
Okay. So
When I
Steelers
was 2
record
years
for
old.
sacks in a single game. I got a bunch of names in my head. There's Jake Adams. There's Mike Merriweather. There's Kevin Green. There's not you. I'm just going to go with the obvious. I'm going to go T.J. Watt. Jeez.
Oh no!
Chad Brown in 1996 had 4.5 sacks against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Who?
Chad Brown.
Played at Colorado, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Played
I'm
for
not
Seattle.
like a Steelers historian, so
He was good. I mean, he was no Hall of Fame.
He played for the Seahawks.
And he also liked snakes. Did you ever see the pictures of him with like snakes around
Can't
his
say
neck?
I did.
He likes
you should
he likes
send him yours.
reptiles. He likes reptiles. He
What'd
might
he
like you.
you should send Chad Brown your snake.
I have to go catch it again. I'll get you a Chad
All
Brown
right.
card next time I can.
Okay, thanks.
Who were they playing?
They were playing the Bengals.
Bengals?
That's
And
who
what
they
was
played
the-
this week.
What was the date?
Well, there was.
It was in 1996.
Well, they played him twice.
October
'cause-
13th, 1996.
Ooh.
It's so weird because it's October 14th.
And-
Weird.
And they also played him on November 10th that year.
What?
Did they not?
The Cincinnati Bengals. Hold on.
What is that?
They
You
played
are,
him twice. They're in the same division.
You are.
but the fact that you know the specific date.
Well,
That's-
see, he won't ask me a date. He asked me something like sacks.
He's like 4.5, and you're like, I know the date, I know the temperature, I know the dew on the field in the morning.
You know the paid
was-
attendance.
the cross streets, the intersection where the stadium is located at.
I know that they gave away terrible towels, and Myron Cope was.
Laura, I would be terribly disappointed if you don't clip Derek popping up and saying mediocre.
Went to the Final Four.
Jeez, Louise.
That's good.
You want me to do it
Derek
on like
is
repeat?
unironically
Like,
the funniest guy in the room. Like,
Well, it's
You are.
It's,
Look what's happened to you since you stepped into this room. This
I'm not
oasis.
look, I'm not shaving anymore.
When you guys first
I'm letting, I'm letting myself go.
Hey, you wouldn't even do that for Movember. Excuse me, sir. That's coming up. Excuse me.
Not doing that. I tried that. I tried that last year.
No,
it didn't
you
work.
didn't
Yes,
try.
I did. I
Yeah, he
started
did.
the thing.
I couldn't. I could not.
Well, I
do-
think we should see what happens
no,
this year.
No.
Babyface,
My-
Drake Adams,
It's because
Murda
there will be, like,
Adams.
Weird
We're gonna see what
whiskers,
happens with
and my
facial
wife will
hair.
eventually just go, "Nope, you're getting rid of this."
Yeah, your wife would probably be like, "I don't want to live with you for the month of November."
Yeah, and not.
That's
if I
right,
could
Derek.
grow a
I'm
full
sorry. You
beard,
did
She would
try.
maybe
Tried
deal
it.
with
for
it.
like 2 weeks, I think, and then you were like, I'm not doing this anymore. But look at you
No.
now. Look at that lustrous beard that you got
It's
going
not-
on there.
It has nothing to do with
Are you
trying.
putting beard oil
no,
on it
I'm,
and
I'm
stuff? Are you brushing it?
literally just too lazy to shave. I get up in the morning. I gotta
Listen.
pet the dog. I gotta feed the cat.
You
I
gotta pet the dog?
Yes, I pet the dog.
I just met the coolest dog. His name was Waffles, and he loved me.
That's a great name.
Also, you guys obviously don't listen to my podcast because I gave you all a shout out last week. Just
What'd you
saying.
say?
It's okay that you don't listen. Trust me. Like
I don't listen to a lot of podcasts.
I listen to them when they drop on my way in just to make sure that I didn't make any mistakes because I'm so neurotic and I've listened to it already so many times. But
What'd you say about
just
us?
so that I appreciate all of you because last week you waited for me and you waited for me today too, but I was coming from a recording and I got to fit it in where I can take it. And it's got to drop tomorrow.
I want to give
Go team.
Derek a compliment.
But I said, I appreciate you guys and how much you've trusted me because I think when I first sat down with you two, I'm pretty sure you guys were like, we're going to murder her. She wants to change everything. And now look at you. You're celebrities.
I mean, if you can't watch the Steelers if you're in prison, right? I mean, I'm not going to.
Wait, why did we go
I
there?
don't know.
I'm not going to murder somebody and get thrown in jail. I mean,
You can probably watch the Steelers in prison.
They're
Oh,
not
I get it. He's
responding.
I don't.
You're not even responding to anything I just
No,
said.
he said that he's not. He wouldn't. You said that
Oh.
we wanted to murder you the first
Oh.
meeting. He's saying,
Yeah.
no, I can't do that because then I can't
Well,
watch. my
Brendan
Steelers."
wouldn't look at me, and I was like, is
Plus,
that his
I don't know if I want my
personality?
son growing up
Visiting
you know,
his dad
yeah,
in prison?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good look. Plus, I wouldn't get to.
What do you look like in orange?
He hates
Maybe
Will
that's what we
Rogers.
should be.
You'll
maybe,
never find
maybe we should
out.
all be inmates.
You will never find out.
We should do like.
Orange. Orange is the devil's color.
I thought it was red.
No.
Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Oh,
Jeez, oh, it's.
brown.
Hey,
Ugh.
let's get back to something that's structured here because right now we are not structured.
Have we
Brendan.
ever been?
We got. Well, you brought some structure. Those grids that we fill out, like the here's this due date.
I
due
can't-
date,
I
due
can't.
date. That helps, but that's
You're out
upstairs.
here like
we come
this,
down
I
here. It's like it's a free for all.
You're over here doing this echo chamber business. Get back in there.
All right.
I'm turning off my mic. Goodbye.
We're closing
going-
the show with what,
We're,
Derek?
we're coming back to high school sports, thankfully. We got a few things to talk about. Brendan, you're going to fill us in on Whitbill girls golf, which team just won the Whitbill Class 2A team title?
North Catholic's girls team did. On my birthday, you guys, what were you doing Thursday and what were you doing Thursday?
I
I
was
texted you.
you did.
I-
Both you texted.
You didn't reply to me. You texted me a work thing like 5 hours later.
Really?
Yeah, you did.
I was working in a coal mine. For
I
my
was
dad.
bowling and watching the Steelers and Eagles lose. I did
That was a bad Thursday for you.
This is. I don't think I've told either of you guys this. John knows this. So the Phillies go up 1-0, and about 8 minutes later, I finished my third 300 game, and then they fell behind, or they tied the game and then lost, and the Eagles started losing, and I did not come anywhere close to 300 the next 2 games. So I hate the Phillies.
So it wasn't a bad night for you.
It was a good start to my night. It was a great start, and then it went downhill.
Yeah. Well, I made some calls. Derek was off. He still helped me out though. He reminded us of the golf, which
Yes.
I wasn't aware of, and I ended up talking to their coach, Jennifer Campbell, and I talked to one of their star golfers, Riley Contle. The most interesting thing about it was that North Catholic 2 years ago couldn't play in the team tournament because they were all golfing at that point for what their coach called self-interest. They're all individual golfers trying to get to the individual tournament. And in the span of 2 years, they also made that round or the tournament last year. They fell short, I think, by 7 strokes of making the state championship tournament. This time they win with a score of 377, which beat out Shadyside Academy, who had a 383, Greensboro Central Catholic 392, and Southmoreland 440. Riley Contle, who I talked to, finished with an 80. Lizzie Fabian had a 96, and Izzy Angleka a 97. That's like Emeka Ebuka. It's hard to say. Gigi Cavella had a 104, and Ali Grusek had a 106. Fabian, who had the 96, played a key part in helping her team jump into first place. She was one of their last golfers in, and when I talked to Riley, she said that they were kind of watching to see what she did to see if the team could get to that point. She said, and I didn't include this in the story, that at that point she thought the best they could finish was second. So it was a pretty welcome thing that they ended up winning that, and now they're going out to the state championships.
You reminded me of the Rob Gronkowski trying to say Emeka Ibuka's name.
Egbegbu.
Jake, what 2 cents do you have for us?
None in my pocket right now.
Oh.
I'll have to go home. But North Catholic girls tennis is in the Whitfield Championships. They play on Wednesday. They'll face Quaker Valley. So by the time this drops, we will know whether or not they finish first or second. Either way, they're going to the state championships. I did want to mention one thing, that there's a very interesting race we have right now, although I think the outcome is probably decided. In Whitfield Section 2 4A, girls volleyball, Seneca Valley is tied with Pine Richland right now at 4-4. Only 3 teams make it from that section to the Whitfield playoffs. It's not looking too great for Seneca Valley to make it. They have a rematch with North Catholic, who they lost to 3-0 earlier this season, but they do face North Hills, who is winless in section play so far this season.
So you're looking at 5-5 pretty much.
Yeah, unless they can pull off an upset against North Catholic, and they're basically going to have to pull off an upset because Pine Richland faces Butler and North Hills. So
Butler's a scrappy team.
Butler's a scrappy
They can
team,
help out.
and they could maybe do their Butler County rival a solid here by knocking off Pine Richland, but it's not. I wouldn't put that as the likely outcome right now. Seneca Valley looks like it's going to be the odd team out, but there is a chance.
Yeah, they are a perennial playoff team too. So Whitfield playoff brackets coming out without Seneca Valley being part of it would be a little odd. That leaves me with soccer, and the top storylines going in the Whitfield soccer brackets are going to be released tomorrow on Wednesday, and the playoffs start this weekend. Seneca Valley boys soccer, only 2 losses this year, both to Fox Chapel. So if they meet for a third time, that would be interesting to see if third time's a charm for the Raiders. North Catholic, who Brennan just did a little piece on for today's paper, I believe they've clinched at least a share of the section title, Brennan?
Yes.
North Catholic. Scott Schlegel, their head coach, great years for the Trojans so far. We'll see if it continues into the playoffs. Mars boys, and I'm going to try to include this in the write-up I have for this coming Friday's paper. They have played 4 overtime section games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And in those 4 games, they are 1-1-2. I thought it was interesting that, just like football, you make or miss the playoffs based on what you do in your section in soccer. And the fact that they've had 4 section games decided in overtime, I thought that was pretty neat. I'm going to be talking to Chris Knopf tomorrow about that. Slippery Rock has a chance to win their region title outright, or at least share it with Hickory, depending on what happens this week. And Karn City, who missed the playoffs last year for the first time in a long time, they're back. The boys are going to be playing in the District 9 playoffs. Those brackets are going to be released, I believe, next week.
Thursday or Friday this week. Yeah, so we should know every bracket outside of football by Friday afternoon or evening is what I'm seeing from District. Whitfield's bracket should come out sometime Wednesday. Volleyball, I think Derek, you thought might come out a day or so later, but then everything for District 9 and 10 will come out Thursday or Friday.
On the girls' side, we got Seneca Valley and Freeport, both winning section titles. Freeport, their only loss this year, I covered it. It was back in, I think it was late August. They lost 1-0 to Butler. That's their only loss this year. So in North Catholic, obviously the girls with Simone Sharpless, they're in the same section as Freeport. Freeport swept them this year, but North Catholic is still a formidable team, and they're going to have a chance to make their run. Butler girls are 1-6-1 in section play.
Yeah.
But they're better than North Hills, and they take 4 out of the 5 teams to the playoffs. So Butler's going to be entering the playoffs.
And all you got to do is get in.
1-6-1, and yeah, that's right. Give yourself a shot. We'll see what happens. And Karn City girls, I think they last missed the District 9 soccer playoffs when Roosevelt was president. And again, I think they're right now. They got 3.
Which
losses.
Roosevelt?
50. Teddy Franklin. It's still a long time ago. Let's put it that way. I believe I got their record via text from Tracy Daly, their head coach, the other night. I think they have 3 losses. I think they're like 14-3, 15-3. So, Karn City's girls, obviously looking to extend that crazy run. I think it's 26 District 9 titles in 30 years. That's not mediocre, by the way. That's it. I mean, it just seems like yesterday we were up at Carn City to do our first show of the season. It was hot. We were under that tent. And here we are. We're talking about playoffs. Football's going to be wrapping up the regular season here in a couple weeks. And
it's 35 degrees at night.
I can smell November.
Halloween.
November is right around the corner.
Napoleon team.
We have to work on Halloween. It's a Friday night.
You do.
Playoff football.
I'm going to try my best to get that party afterwards.
You guys want me to bring you cookies?
We're talking about practice, Brendan.
I don't think I need cookies.
Derek's just staring at me.
We're talking about practice?
Practice.
Hey,
not a game.
He's got the hat on.
Not a game.
Wait, what?
Practice.
What hat is that?
76ers. The old school Sixers.
Oh,
My era.
There was
Sixers.
a period of my life where I tried to claim an NBA team, and I thought LeBron was going to go to the 76ers instead of the Lakers. So I started like
Buying all the
paying
things.
attention to them. Then he went to LA and says like, okay.
Philly did convince
Feel like I
himself
got
of
all
that.
this swag.
I've told you this before. My favorite NBA player of all time, not that I'm an NBA fan now, but I love Dr. J. But my favorite team, when I was a kid, they were an expansion team, late 80s, Charlotte Hornets. And this is back when the NBA rarely had games on TV. It was like one a week, like the big matchup, like Lakers, Celtics. Every morning I would wake up and I'd watch the 10-minute the ticker across the bottom of ESPN to see what Charlotte did. And this is back when they were an expansion team. So I think they won like 11 games their first year. But that was my team.
We got one.
Charlotte Hornets.
Forgot one other thing from section 1 here. Our fantasy league updates.
Jake, you
Well, you had a move to make, so we got to get to it. We have to announce it on the
Okay,
show before, or it's not official. So here,
I'm dropping Brendan and I'm picking up Jake. Okay.
week 8. Derek did have his best week. He got 47 points, thanks largely to Joe Felitsky's 38-point
Thank
effort.
you, Joe.
3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing TDs. However, he still finished last for the week. Brendan had 59 points thanks to Nico Baguetta's big game. And I, once again, rode the Aiden Yoakum train to 67 points. So the season standings right now, through 3 weeks with 2 to go. Derek's in last with 104. Brendan's in second with 186.
Wow.
And I have extended my very narrow lead to 210. So, Derek, you wanted to make one waiver claim, and we're gonna update the audience. We've changed it from it has to be injury related waiver claim to you can just make a waiver claim. And Derek, being last in the standings currently right now, gets the first pick in waivers. And who are you? What is your move?
He did score me 2 touchdowns. Was it last week, Owen Long? He scored 2 touchdowns. But they're also Slippery Rock's playing Hickory this week.
Yes.
So I'm gonna cut Owen Long.
Okay.
And I'm gonna pick up Skibinski.
Logan Skibinski.
Yeah, even though they're playing Port Allegheny, but I think he's gonna make some big plays in that game. And hey, if he goes out and runs for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, I'll take it.
Skibinski.
Yeah,
I feel like that's like a real
I bet you he likes
an-
pierogi.
Announcer.
Brendan, do you have any waiver moves
He's coming
you
down the
need to make?
field.
I don't think so. I think my team's pretty good right now.
All right. Roy O'Shea, I'm counting on you for a big week. Let's go, buddy.
We encourage you to subscribe to the Butler Eagle YouTube channel and Apple or Spotify podcasts or your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Alter Eagle Podcast and at Butler Eagle News. Goodbye.